everybody, welcome to my video today, you guys. It has been a long time, I feel like, since I have shared something with my Project Life albums with you guys on Fridays, and to be honest, you guys, I have just been struggling. That's just the truth. I went through a big project during the summer of reorganizing my Project Life albums, and that included the kids' albums and kind of streamlining them. And you guys, I just got it was just a big project, and I got a little bit burnt out, and so I've been struggling with our Project Life albums. So I wanted to share with you guys Andrew's album. I just wrapped up this album for him. He has black albums. These are actually albums from Stampin' Up!, the ones that Stampin' Up! Carries. They're the faux leather, and then they're just the basic black color, and that's what all of his albums are. So just as a quick disclaimer, guys, my kids are home for fall break and they're playing right outside, which is right directly outside my office. So if you hear them, that's what's happening. So Andrew, this album is really full. It is, I think, 3 full years. It is October. It starts in October of 2014, and then it just ended in this next month because this is his birthday month. So I started a new album for him, and then as you can see, the front part of his album doesn't have a lot, but then he started school, so there started being a lot more inserts and different things. And this is probably a lot fuller than I would normally have an album, but I really just wanted to fit the last bit of this year for him in this album, so it would just, you know, I could start a fresh album in this for the October 2017. So this is his album, and this starts just like this. I have a page lifter. So this is, I get my page lifters now from Becky Higgins because she sells them now. And what I like to do is I just stick to one brand of stuff, basically. So all of my page protectors are Becky Higgins branded page protectors, and then I get my page lifters from her now, and then my albums I get at a couple different places. This black one is from Stampin' Up. I get some from scrapbook.com, and then I get some from Becky Higgins. So here is just, it's a really simple title page. It has a photo of him. This photo is not from 2014. It's a more recent photo. It's just one that I stuck in there. So I'm gonna go through kind of very quickly and just show you an overview of his album. I'm sorry about the glare. It's a little bit hard for me to film with these page protectors. So what I do is I take a divider, and I used to divide out every single month, and that's one of the things that I did away with this summer is I took out all of my clear dividers, and now I just do a divider for the start of the year, and then I do a stamp on each title card. So for my children, I do 1 spread a month for them. So that means they get 12 spreads during the year, and that's their albums. I do an album for all 3 of my kids. I do a family album every year, which is I look at that as more of my album, my Project Life album, but it has a lot of family stuff in it right now because we have kids at home. And then I do a One Little Word album. I currently have a wellness, fitness album, mini album I'm doing. I do lots of mini albums through the year. So for my kids, what I want, as I keep the end in mind kind of what I want them to be able to leave home with, I want them to have maybe between 10 and 12 albums, and I can get about 2 years in every album. So I just do 1 spread. I usually set everything up ahead of time, and then I just pick out 7 to 8 photos. Sometimes there's extra photos kind of in the middle here. I put those photos in. If there's anything kind of special happening, they kind of have an insert into that month. And then that's all I do for them. I do some journaling, and that's it. So currently, Andrew, this is starting his 4th album. When I start this next album, it'll be his 4th album. Kayla currently has 4 albums, and Violet currently has 3. So I still am in the middle of not reorganizing their albums, but I want them each to have a volume 1 album that will have some family history, some photos of when I was pregnant with them, some stories about that, and then some stories of mom and dad, and then some of their baby album stuff. So I'll share that when I do it. I haven't tackled it. I had the idea this summer, but I haven't tackled it yet. So I want them to have volume 1, 2, 3, like that's how I want their albums to go. This one for Andrew starts in 2014, so he would have been 3, right? He would have been 3. And so then it goes all the way through this year. So there's 3 full years in here. So I have the divider here, and then I just stamp the title card. So this is October 2014. You can see I'm missing a photo right here. So what I like to do when I'm wrapping up a year, usually I do this at the end of each of their years. Like Andrew's album ends in October. Well, it would end in September because then his next year starts in October. So with Violet, hers ends in October because her birthday's in November. So kind of at the end of their year, or like the month of their birthday, I like to go through and kind of make sure all my journaling is done. If I'm missing any photos, I go back and I grab photos for that month. So right now I am doing that for Andrew's album. I'm finishing up some journaling. You'll see that here at the end here. And then there's a couple things that I need to grab some photos for. So I'm just gonna go through pretty quickly with his. I just want to give you guys an idea of what I do. For Andrew, I have been using like one core kit or one mini kit for a whole year. This year I used the Midnight core kit, which I love. So that's November and then December. And then here starts January, but there's no divider because this is still when he was 3. So there's no divider starting a new year because his year has already started. So sometimes I will do a special insert page. A lot of times I'm doing this for work, meaning I'm sharing, there's something that I need to share with you guys, or I'm sharing in my membership group and I'm putting something particular together. And so that's why this is the Midnight kit, but there's this insert right here. And that means it's kind of a different style divider. And then also it has different cards. Here's February, and you can see I've just stamped my title card with the year and then with the month so that there's an indication of when the months change. And you can see I need to do a little bit of work here. I'm missing something here. And then you can see I have a few inserts you'll see in the middle of the months. But really before he starts school, there wasn't a lot that I was inserting into the months. I really was just keeping it pretty simple. I tend to try to do that with the kids' albums because otherwise they're just not going to get done. There's just too much going on and I don't have the time to be adding a whole lot or doing a whole lot of creative stuff within their albums. I really just want them to have a snapshot of their childhood, and this is something that's really easy. If my title cards are already set up and my 3x4 cards are set up in the middle, dropping in photos is not that big of a deal. 7 to 8 photos a month. It's easy to have that. So one thing that I was doing is doing a divider page where I would just take some designer paper and I would do a whole spread that was like indicating there was a new year starting. I'm not doing that anymore because it just takes up valuable real estate in their album. So for the next year, for 2015, I used Kathy Zilke's mini kit that she designed, and I really love this kit. I love the colors. And then you can see I just wrote on here October 2015 to September 2016. And again, I'm just doing the same thing. I stamped that title card. I have the journaling in, and we go through here. Because I wait to do my journaling, this is something that I have recently been struggling with. You can see that there's not a lot of journaling and I'm trying to go back. When I go back to do journaling like this is like a year ago, a year and a half ago, it's very reflective. So it's just as I'm looking at the photos, whatever I'm thinking about or emotions that it's bringing up is what I'm journaling. I'm trying to get much better about doing more journaling in the moment or within the month. The other thing that I've started doing is I'm using the Day One app. This is something that I'm really loving, you guys. I've heard about this for many years and I never really thought it would be useful for me. I never really thought I would need it, but I have been using this and it's been such a help. So every day I'm just jotting some things down, what we're doing, or if one of the kids say something funny or I want to remember something specific about them. It's a free app. There's a version that you can pay for, which I'm considering doing, because then you can use it, you can sync it onto your devices. So like on my iMac I could use it, or my Air I could use it, or my iPad. Everything would sync together. But what I love about it is you just tap the day, you create a new entry. It just gives you this blank surface, and then you can write something. The other thing that's super nice about it is if you view, it will record the weather and then where you're at. So I let it access my information, and it can record where you're at, and then you can also add a photo. I think I added a photo yesterday just to try it out. Yeah. So you can see here, I know it's a little bit hard to see, you guys. So here's my entry, and then I added this photo. We're dealing with some fires here in California, and it's actually quite heartbreaking. There's a fire really close to where our home was when we first got married, and we have friends there that are struggling a lot right now with the fires. And so anyways, I had added this photo just to see how it looked. And so this is a really great tool for journaling, you guys. I really recommend it. Even if you just do the free version, I believe that if you pay, you can do like different journals. Like if I wanted to do a journal for Kayla and a journal for Andrew, like I could do that. I don't want to complicate it. Like I just want to be able to open the app up, jot down some notes, and be done. And then when I look back at it, I can kind of figure out like what is what. So that's one thing that I've been doing to kind of help with that. And I'll put some photos over on my coordinating blog post so you guys can kind of see these posts or these photos up close. You can see, like with Andrew's, they're very, very simple. There's nothing like exciting. As he started school, there started to be more things that I added. I am a big fan of the way things layer together in Project Life. Here's a little finger painting he did. It's just, I punched holes in it and I put it in here. You have to be careful, of course, like this is just paper and this is going to wear, you know, and it could eventually tear and fall out. My kids, when they look through their albums, I've showed them through the years how to be careful, and I'm really on top of making sure that they know to be careful when they're looking through things. They just don't open it up and start ripping through things or flipping things through, you know, quickly. They also know how to close the album. They know they take a few pages at a time and pull the pages back and then they close it. They don't just close the album. So all those things are important to make sure that your kids or even other family members kind of know as they're looking through. And then if something gets ripped, like there's one in here, like see, this one has gotten really ripped. I will either, and it's just a finger painting, like really, honestly, you guys, if this ends up going in the trash, I'm not heartbroken. I can either punch the holes. I could get reinforcements, or if it pops out, I do in all of my kids' album have this pocket in the back and I can just tuck it in there and then it's in there. So also as he started school, I started adding things into the pockets. This is probably a month I just didn't have an extra photo, so I went ahead and I stuck this in there. I like the idea of using their artwork or things that they're doing in school to put into the pockets. And then the other thing I really like doing is getting enlargements. So this is an enlargement that I got of him, a 12 by 12. I use my Project Life app to do that, and it's really simple. I get it printed right through the Project Life app, and then I can just add it. I did a somewhat of a traditional layout. I did this for a class I was taking with Allie Edwards, and then I've never finished the journaling. And then I paired that together with a 6 by 12 layout. And then I never did do anything on this. One thing I was thinking about doing is cutting this down and adding it to this. So it wouldn't be the whole page, but really these are just coloring pages. There's really no huge sentimental value to me for these. I just like adding a few of the things, and you can see There's not a lot constantly in here. Like, this is literally, he just had markers and he scribbled around. But as he looks through this, he gets excited and he remembers this. And so that's why I like to add a few things here and there. He just got excited when he saw that one. Here's his school picture. When my husband picked this orientation, he didn't realize that it was going to be the wrong orientation. I probably wouldn't have picked that orientation, but I just, you know, you just let it go and you stick it in the pocket and you don't worry about it. It's totally fine. So then here, again, because he started school, there's more stuff in here. This starts a new year, so he has his divider. So this was October 2016 to September 2017, so that just ended. So here you go. Here is the beginning of October, and then this was for school. And then I did this. This was the very last card my grandmother sent in the mail before she passed away last year. So I wanted it, instead of it just being in the pocket in the very back of the album, I really wanted it to be right here in his month. He was the very last one who got a card from her before she passed away. And then you can see here, I have some of his artwork that I've cut down and used in the pockets. And then here we go. Here's more of his school stuff. December 2016. And then we go into January 2017. And he starts getting a lot more stuff in here. This was a special thing they did in his class. So he had an insert here. And then here's March. April, he had a little insert. These are all photos that his teacher had given me when he graduated preschool. I didn't even realize, as I was going through some of his stuff, there was a little envelope of all of these photos that she had taken in class. She had to take photos in class to document different things that they were learning and different things like that. So I just did a really simple insert and I stuck all of those photos in there. There's only one card, and I'll just document that that was the case. Sorry about that, guys. I got a phone call, so I kind of lost my train of thought. So right here, I'll just jot down some notes that these were photos from Andrew's preschool teacher. And some of these photos have notes on the back. So they're her notes from whatever it was they were learning about, or what she was testing him on, or his progress. So I'll also probably put a note about that. Now, some of these I cut down, so some of the notes on the back got cut down too. But that's okay. There was just no way for me to be able to, I just wasn't sure what to do with all of it. So I just kind of let it go, right? Everything can't always be perfect, or everything can't be documented. That's never my goal, to document every single thing. It's just supposed to be a snapshot of their month and their year and just different milestones that they have. So here is May, and in June, Andrew graduated from preschool. That's kind of funny, right? It wasn't like a graduation, but he was, out of preschool into kindergarten. So he had a little invitation that he did that we kept in there. There was some stuff from the end of the school year. I always do up an end of the year thing for them. And Andrew's Project Life pages are not in here. So what I do at the end of the school year, I do this for all of the kids, and the girls, their album is already done and I've already had these printed. But for Andrew, this is what I do. I take photos of their work, and then I just put it in their album. So you can see here's a bunch of his work that I photographed to put in here. And then I save a few things and it goes in a box. And then I put a couple things in his actual album. So then this is the day of his graduation. It was really overcast and my photos came out horrible. They're super dark. That's him and his teacher and him and his little friend. And they're really dark photos, and I just kind of let it go, you guys. Like, even though they're not perfect photos, they're a little bit dark. I just kind of let it go and move on. And then here's some of his other artwork that I chose to save in here. And then here's a little thing that he did that's folded up as well. And then here's a little pocket. It has his name tag, a couple things he did, a tracing of his foot, a little artwork thing in there, and then his little diploma type thing. And then that is July. And you can see I need to finish a couple things in here that I just haven't got a chance to finish up, and I'm trying to finish up the journaling. Then we got his letter for his what class he was going to be in for kindergarten, and then his note from the first day of school. And then this is his photo from the very first day of school. And then there'll need to be a few more pictures for September in here. I'll need to journal. And then that wraps up this album, and his new album starts for October. So I just thought I would share with you guys kind of what I do with the kids' album. This is one that's all finished up. I'll take some photos and share some photos over on my website for today and today's coordinating blog post. You can get to that by clicking on the link in the description. And then I'll also link some supplies that's Stampin' Up! Carries for Project Life. Our line is now called Memories and More, but we have some really nice albums and some card kits, and we have some also smaller albums, and I'll link all of that in case you are wondering. And then I'll also leave a link just letting you guys know you can click on that, and it explains what my membership group is. This is kind of a lot of stuff I dive into with my membership group. We just had our first live workshop this last week, and that's where I share a lot of Project Life stuff. I'm going to be going over the girls' albums, and then I'll also have an update on our family album over the next couple weeks. So I hope you guys are doing great. Leave me a comment and let me know where you guys are at with Project Life, what you're struggling with, what you're having success with. I just happen to be in a phase that I'm just struggling a little bit and trying to get back in the swing of things and get, kind of, once you're in the swing of things, it's easier. When you get out of the habit of doing these kinds of things, taking photos, getting them in albums, it can be a little bit harder. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll be back on Monday with a brand new project for you guys. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I'll talk to you later.